are continuing cleanup efforts in Virginia Beach after a leak spilled 94,000 gallons of jet fuel at the Naval Air Station in Oceana. Here's Sarah Nacman for the report.
1 week after 94,000 gallons of JP5 jet fuel spilled from a tank inside the Naval Air Station Oceana Base in Virginia Beach, Virginia, the cleanup phase is shifted from emergency to assessment and remediation.
Today we're announcing the end of the emergency phase of the cleanup and a transition to the assessment and remediation phase.
The Virginia Department of Health is warning residents to stay away from Wolf Snare Creek and to abstain from fishing, crabbing, or other recreational activities while cleanup efforts are ongoing. Several environmental and wildlife groups are also working diligently to prevent new wildlife from entering the spill site and rescue and rehabilitate affected wildlife.
There's hard boom, and that's meant to contain the JP5. These sorbent materials also soak up the JP5, and it's recovered in a few hours and fresh sorbents are put out. They've been using back trucks, so it's basically just like a vacuum that goes into a truck and that fuel is disposed of.
Jet fuel on Wolf Snare Creek are skimmed off. Soil with jet fuel were dug and disposed of properly, and water and air quality are monitored closely. Although no one was injured from the spill, there are reports of wildlife affected by this incident. But according to the Navy commander, after 2 weeks of cleanup efforts, there are reports that wildlife is returning.
We lost some wildlife and we saved some wildlife. And some are already starting to return to the area, as some of you reported today.
Upon arriving at our facility in Newark, Delaware, they were assessed by our veterinarian, provided a medical exam, and treated for anything they needed to be treated, as well as giving some supportive care.
The cleanup effort is a collaboration between the Navy, Coast Guard, City of Virginia Beach, Virginia Department of Emergency Management, the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality, and other organizations both in government and private sectors.
You've seen the emergency response teams and equipment in the neighborhood, along the roadside ditches, along the roadside and in the ditches. Those efforts contained the spill, removed the fuel from the water, and most importantly, kept it from spreading. You've seen contaminated soil removed, response teams monitoring the air, and testing of the drinking water to ensure the safety in the neighborhoods.
According to the Navy's Mid-Atlantic Region Public Affairs Office, all recoverable jet fuel has been removed, and the Navy is now focusing their attention in the next phase of the project, making sure standards and regulations are met.
Under the assessment and remediation phase of the jet fuel spill, Virginia Department of Environmental Quality will require the Navy to complete an investigation of any long-term groundwater or surface water concerns. If concerns are identified, Department of Environmental Quality will require the Navy to evaluate corrective action options and to address those concerns.
Recently, the Navy celebrated Earth Day. They are once again reaching out to the communities about the environment, but this time to give progress of the cleanup efforts and provide assistance to anyone that is affected by the spill.
As I've said before, and above all else, our commitment is to the residents. We've contacted you, and you've reached out to us. We're continuing to work to address your concerns, and we're working to maintain and/or regain your trust.
While the cleanup efforts are underway, 51 family members from the surrounding areas were evacuated to a nearby hotel. They have yet determined the cause of the jet fuel spill here at the NAS Oceana. This is Sarah Nacman reporting live for Eagle News International, and I'm 1 with 25.